started with a laugh, not mine. It echoed through my head, sharp and sudden, like someone else had just found the joke hilarious, and I hadn't even told one. I stopped mid-toothbrush and stared at the mirror. My reflection didn't laugh, but I heard it again. Then a second voice whispering, "Don't let her out yet. She's not ready." And then another, "Oh, come on. She's already halfway broken. What's one more crack?" I sat down on the bathroom floor, toothbrush still foaming in my mouth, trying not to scream. Instead, I muttered, Okay, I'm having a breakdown. That's fine. Totally reasonable response to almost dying and becoming a meat radio for strangers in my own skull. The voices replied, in unison, "You're not breaking. You're remembering." The next few days blurred. I stopped pretending to be normal, didn't leave the apartment, barely ate, kept the TV on at full volume to drown them out. But here's the kicker. They didn't come from outside. The voices didn't float in like ghosts. They rose from within, like dreams I didn't remember having. One had a British accent, snarky, called herself Delia. Another had a shaky, childlike lilt. She didn't give a name, just sobbed sometimes, apologized for things I didn't do. And one didn't speak. She just breathed, loud, close, always just behind my left ear. I called Dr. Halverson again. "I'm hearing voices," I said, biting a pencil until it splintered. Not like a metaphor, literal people in my head, narrating my life like it's a bad audiobook. He said, "Ava, do they tell you to hurt yourself or others?" I laughed. "Doc, they don't have to. They just sit there and watch, judge, comment like it's Twitter." He was quiet a long time, then softly, "Ava, you might be experiencing a dissociative identity event." "Oh good, so I'm not haunted. I'm just a clown car for personalities. Love that for me." I woke up in a hospital bed and realized I was broken. Not my legs in a cast, broken. Not everything hurts, broken. No. No smell, no taste, no touch, no hearing, no sight. Just awareness, floating in the blackness, like being a brain in a jar with a bad attitude. I tried to scream, obviously, but I didn't even know if my mouth worked, or if it was my mouth, or if I still had a mouth. Turns out, when your entire sensory input is cut off, the only thing left is your thoughts, and mine were not helpful. So this is it. I'm a ghost who forgot how to haunt. They say you can still think when you're in a coma. If that's true, someone should have warned me it's the mental equivalent of being trapped in an eternal Zoom meeting with myself and no mute button. I ran the same question over and over again. What the hell happened to me? There were memories, kind of. A fever, a high one, burning hot skin, shadows crawling across the ceiling, screaming. But I don't remember if the screaming was mine. After what felt like 300 years of internal TED Talks and failed meditation attempts, I noticed something new. A smell. It was faint, like vanilla and lemon cleaning spray. Not a memory, not an idea, a scent, real. I laughed, or tried to. It probably sounded like a croak. Great, I can smell the janitor. I'm healed. But the scent got stronger, and then the memories came. Only they weren't mine. I was walking through a field of lavender, barefoot. A woman in a red dress spun in slow circles ahead of me, laughing. I could feel sunlight, see the color of her eyes. Except, again, I couldn't. I still couldn't see, but I remembered seeing. The woman's voice echoed in my head. "Come on, Luca. Keep up." And that's when I realized two things. First, I don't know anyone named Luca. Second, I've never set foot in a lavender field in my life, so naturally, I did what any recovering patient of mystery fever and complete sensory deletion would do. I freaked the hell out, inside, quietly, because I still couldn't speak. Eventually, I drifted off, if you can call it drifting off, when you have no body to feel heavy or eyes to close. I woke up some indeterminate amount of time later, and I could smell again. For real. Bleach, coffee, mint. My nurse's perfume, floral, synthetic, borderline violent. I could also feel movement. Not touch yet, but the vague sense of being pushed, like someone wheeling my bed down a hallway. Then, a vibration in my skull, a voice, muffled, like hearing someone talk through water. Then another, but neither were speaking to me. They were speaking inside me. She's not ready. It doesn't matter. The rest are waking up. She should have never come this deep. I didn't know what to do with that, or with the smell of lavender that returned, stronger now, burning almost, like it had curdled in my memory. I screamed again. At least, I think I did. Then something in my brain whispered, not one of the voices, but my own thought. Something I hadn't wanted to admit. You're not alone in here. I didn't get discharged so much as escape the hospital. Not in a dramatic, break the window kind of way. They just quietly wheeled me out the back after deciding I was stable, which apparently means not dead yet, with the side of probably someone else's problem now. I had 4 working senses. No sight, no voice. But smell, glorious smell, was back in high definition. Unfortunately, the first thing I caught was the stench of my old apartment. Damp towels, expired yogurt, and the faint musk of depression. Nice to know some things survived death. Then came the memories. Every time I smelled something, it wasn't mine. Lavender triggered the field again. Cigarette smoke summoned a man's hand holding a whiskey glass, calloused fingers drumming to some jazz tune I didn't recognize. A whiff of cheap cologne sent me spiraling into a vision of rage. Cold, sharp rage. Someone standing in a bathroom stall, fists clenched, staring down at bruised knuckles, and always someone whispering Luca. I googled the name. Nothing. Just a bunch of fashion models and a dead Italian pope. I called my therapist, or tried to. She picked up on the second ring. Ava. Hi, I rasped. I could speak again, barely. Voice raspy like sandpaper, and trauma had a baby. I think I'm possessed, I said. A long pause. You're definitely back. I started keeping a notebook. Every scent, every memory, every time I felt like someone else. At first, it helped, until I noticed that some entries weren't mine. The handwriting was different, not wildly so, but rounder, more childlike, loopy letters, doodles in the margins. I stared at one page for a long time. Luca is scared of Ava. Ava is sharp, like glass. I stay quiet when she's awake. Except, I didn't write that. I went back to the hospital, demanded answers. Dr. Halverson gave me his "you're an interesting case" face. You suffered acute encephalitis, he explained slowly, like I was 5 or heavily sedated. That's inflammation of the brain. In rare cases, it can cause identity disturbances, hallucinations. I'm not hallucinating, I snapped. I'm remembering things that aren't mine. He didn't laugh. He just said, then maybe they're part of you after all. Back at my apartment, I dumped every bottle of perfume I owned. I washed my sheets 5 times. I microwaved a scented candle out of spite. None of it helped. The smells came anyway. Old wood, fresh paint, garden dirt, and Luca. Always Luca. Not a person, a feeling. A second heartbeat. That night, I woke up gasping. I was standing in the hallway. holding a butcher knife. My hand wasn't shaking. My other hand was holding a rose. I dropped them both. The next morning, I found a message scribbled on the bathroom mirror in soap. Not Ava, not anymore. Later that night, Delia introduced herself again. Properly. "I'm the one who kept us alive," she said, "while you were busy pretending none of this ever happened." She showed me flashes. Someone's hands pulling me out of a bathtub. Blood on the tiles. A broken comb. A voice screaming from behind a closed door. "Don't look at her." Then static. The little girl, her voice broke through next. She was hurting. We had to hide. I asked, "Hide from what?" Her voice turned small. "From you." By morning, I'd stopped trying to filter my thoughts. It didn't matter anymore. My brain was a group chat I couldn't mute. I made coffee and greeted the empty kitchen. "Good morning." Alternate versions of me. "Let's all agree, no stabbings before noon, yeah?" Delia, "No promises." But then, while drying my hands, I heard something new. A voice outside my head. A deep male voice. Rough, unfamiliar. "Don't trust them, Ava. They're not all you." I turned around so fast I nearly fell over. No one was there. "Who said that?" I asked aloud. And then the whisper came from inside again. That wasn't one of us. I woke up hungry. Not skip breakfast hungry. I'm talking gnaw your own hand if it looks medium, rare hungry. It hit fast, no warning. 1 minute I was half asleep on the couch, wrapped in a blanket that still smelled like laundry detergent and fear. And the next, I was stumbling to the fridge, tearing it open like it owed me money. Problem was, everything tasted wrong. Bread, like cardboard soaked in regret. Apples, ash, chocolate. Don't even ask. It made me gag. Then I found it. A barely thawed package of ground beef, meant for taco night, or a better version of me. I don't remember making the decision. I just remember sinking my teeth into it. Cold, metallic, slippery. It should have made me sick. Should have made me throw up. Instead, it felt right. The voices didn't say anything at first. Not Delia, not the child, not even the breather. But as I licked blood from my fingers, Delia finally sighed. Well, there she is. I didn't ask what she meant, because in that moment I knew, that night, I had the first real dream since the fever. I was running, barefoot, fast, through a forest I didn't recognize. Not scared, not hunted. I was the one doing the hunting. My hands were slick with something, my mouth full of warmth. And in the clearing ahead, something screamed, high and animal-like. I smiled, and then I woke up. There was dirt under my fingernails. I called Dr. Halverson again. "Doc," I said, voice flat, "how do you tell if you're sleepwalking or, I don't know, becoming a nocturnal apex predator?" He didn't laugh. He asked if I was on drugs. I told him, only the prescription ones, and apparently raw beef. He wanted to admit me for observation. I declined, because I already knew what they'd say. It's trauma. It's mental illness. It's not real. But the bite marks on my palm, very real. By day 3 of carnivore cravings, I gave in and bought steak tartare from a fancy place across town. The guy behind the counter raised an eyebrow. "Big fan of raw meat, huh?" I stared at him for a second too long, then smiled. It's not for me. It was absolutely for me. That night I found a new message on my bathroom mirror, written again in soap. Not mine. "She's getting stronger." I wiped it away, hand trembling, tried to laugh it off. "Cool. Who's she?" Delia's voice came, low and dry. "The one you buried. The one who never forgets. You kept her down for years, but now you're feeding her." The next morning, my therapist called me, said she'd had a dream about me, said I was screaming. I told her I was fine. She didn't sound convinced. She said, "You used to joke about being a monster." "Yeah," I said, "but back then, I didn't mean it." I tried to look at myself in the mirror that night, but something was off. The reflection smiled half a second too late, and her teeth, they looked a little too sharp. It started in my fingers, a little buzz, like static. Then gradually, everything came back. Pressure, texture, weight. Touch returned. I cried. Big, snotty, ugly tears because after weeks of floating in sensory limbo, I could finally feel the cool glass of a window, the soft cotton of my shirt, the way my cat, who hates me, bit my toe while pretending to snuggle. I could feel. I was real again, for about an hour. And then, things got weird. First, I noticed the heartbeat. It wasn't mine. It was slower, deeper. Somewhere in my back near my spine, like a second engine revving inside my body. I put a hand to my chest. Normal. Then to my side. Nothing. But when I pressed my palm flat against the back of my neck, thump, thump. And then the whisper, "Don't touch that. She doesn't like it." I screamed. "Delia." Silent. The girl voice, sobbing. The breather, laughing now, raspy and wet, like someone trying to inhale water. I stumbled to the mirror and yanked up my shirt, checking my bag. Nothing. No wounds, no movement, no explanation. Except one. I whispered it before I could stop myself. "I'm not alone in here." That night, my body twitched in bed. I say my body because I wasn't doing it. My left leg jerked like it was dreaming of escape. My arm flexed and released, like someone testing the tendons. Delia finally spoke. "You should have let her stay buried." I asked, "Who is she?" The little girl answered, "The part of us that doesn't stop. Not for pain, not for rules, not for guilt. She wakes up when you're weak." The next morning, I woke up in the bathtub, clothed, dry, sitting upright. There was a word carved into the foggy mirror across the room. One I didn't write. Mine. I tried to shower. My hands fought back, literally. My left hand grabbed the right. My foot kicked the faucet. At one point, I slapped myself so hard I nearly bit my tongue. I tried to joke it away. "Okay, we've officially gone full Black Swan. Do I get an Oscar now or later?" But the laughter didn't come. The second heartbeat was stronger, constant, like a metronome in a panic attack. Later that day, I noticed something worse. I couldn't feel certain things anymore. My own touch, dull, like I was wearing gloves inside my skin. But strangers. A guy brushed past me at the store, and I felt everything. His breath, his pulse, the friction of denim, even the anger simmering in his chest. It didn't feel like empathy. It felt like invasion. I went home and locked the door. Then I picked up a pen to write in my notebook. My hand moved on its own. I watched as the pen scrawled, letter by letter. "I'm tired of hiding." And underneath it, "Let me out." That night I dreamt of mirrors again. Except this time, I wasn't looking into one. I was inside it, watching someone else wear my face. She was graceful, confident, smiling with a predator's calm. She turned to the mirror, me, and said, "I like it out here. It happened without warning." One moment I was sitting in the dark, hands clenched, heartbeat echoing like thunder in my spine. The next, light. Soft at first, like dawn bleeding in. Then detail, color, edges, sight, my final sense. The last door opening, and through it, she walked in. I stared at the mirror across the room. I could finally see myself, only it wasn't just me. It was her. standing in the reflection, smiling like I was the punchline of a joke she'd been waiting years to deliver. Same eyes, same nose, same mouth, but different. Posture straight, chin high, confidence radiating off her like heat from asphalt. "Took you long enough," she said. Her lips moved. Mine didn't. I stumbled backward, hitting the dresser. The girl in the mirror didn't move. She just kept watching me, head tilted with amusement, like she was studying a weaker animal, trying to remember how its legs worked. "I've been patient," she said. "But patience isn't what we're known for, is it?" I whispered. "Who are you?" Her smile widened. "I'm you, Ava. The part you carved out. The instinct, the hunger, the survivor. The one you needed when everything else failed." The voices in my head were quiet now. Even Delia. Even the child. They were watching too. Like the final act of a play they'd all rehearsed, waiting for the curtain to fall. The girl in the mirror stepped closer from the inside. "You let me in with every sense. Each one was a key. You opened the door. All I did was walk through." I shook my head. "No, you're not real," says the girl who eats raw meat, hears dead girls, and writes messages in her sleep. My breath fogged the mirror. So did hers. Only, I wasn't breathing. I turned away, closed my eyes, pressed my hands to my ears. It didn't help. The voice echoed inside now, clearer than ever. "You don't need them. The therapist, the doctor, the rules. You survived because of me. They just slowed you down." I opened my eyes, and she was gone. The mirror showed only me again, shaking, pale, real. I laughed, because what else do you do when you realize your body's a rental car and your other self just found the keys? "This is fine," I said aloud. "Totally fine. We'll just set boundaries. Maybe co-host this meat suit, like adults." Silence. And then I smiled, except I didn't mean to. I blinked. The mirror blinked before I did. Something inside me shifted, warm, thrumming. She was still there. But now, so was I. Two minds, one body, a draw, a balance, for now. It's been 2 weeks. I go on walks now, make eye contact with strangers, smile more. They say I seem different, sharper, more assertive. They don't know, but she's in here. Sometimes I let her take the wheel. Just a little. Like when someone cuts in line, or talks over me, or gets too close. She doesn't scream, she smiles, and they always back away. The mirror still talks to me. So does the girl. We don't fight anymore. We're the same now, a team. One to watch, one to act. 6 senses, 6 selves, and only one body. It's hard to say who I am anymore, but whoever's wearing me now, she's doing a damn good job pretending I never existed.